This link for 5th grade going along with the story The Firebird and the Magic Ring. If you go ahead and Treasures textbook to page 642 and 643, this is where we can go ahead and get started. Before we begin reading the story, I'd like to go over the vocabulary words that are in this unit. And the first one is dismiss. If you dismiss someone, you fire that person from a job. Intentions. Intentions are plans to act in a certain way. Despair. Despair is lack of all hope. Bridle. The straps that fit around a horse's head and guide the horse are called the bridle. Descended. Descended means to have moved from a higher place to a lower place. Accompany. Accompany means to go together with. Delicacies. Delicacies are rare and delicious foods. Consented. If you consented to do something, you have gave permission or a huntsman, a person who hunts animals for food. A female horse. A ruler in Russia giving or having war authority. And mythical, having to do with myths or ideas and stories that many believe which aren't to be true. And then you have also another one is regal, having qualities of a king or other ruler. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and direct our attention to page 642. Tales take place long ago and they have imaginary characters and settings and involve good and evil. Also, remember our comprehension strategy that we're focusing on this week is a sequence chart, so sequence of events. Remember that this means identifying the order in which the story takes place and making sure you understand the sequence of events. It can help you remember specific events in a story. So as we are reading this book, page 188, and you guys can follow along with me as I fill that out. The Golden Mare, The Firebird and the Magic Ring. It's by Ruth Sanderson. Let's begin reading. Now once upon a time, in a place where magical beasts still roam the earth, a young man named Alexei went home to seek his fortune and perhaps to find an adventure or two as well. Alexei was an excellent huntsman, but after traveling for a week he had found neither work, and one evening as night descended and the moon arose, he made edge of a glade. A noise of hoofbeats in the forest started. It a herd of deer or some other game. The lad readied his bow. It was too wondrous to shoot. It was a golden dreamed around her and sparkled in the moonlight. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. That a summary is a short statement of the most important items. As a strategy, summarizing the major events can help me identify the person's face and their attempts to solve them. So let me summarize what his story so far. Alexei, a young huntsman, has left his home and seek out fortune and adventure. He's walking in the forest when he hears hoofbeats. Thinking it's a herd of deer, he prepares to shoot his bow and arrow, but he doesn't shoot because he sees something. So now as I keep reading, I'm going to then build upon that summary that I've already created, and let's go ahead and see what else we can add to that summary for. Now the Golden Mare stood and gazed at the huntsman, who pointed an arrow at her heart. "Hold, fair sir, do not shoot," said the mare. To the astonishment of the lad, Alexei lowered his bow and slowly approached the remarkable mare. "I'm at your service for sparing my life," she said. "What is your desire?" Alexei told the mare he sought work and adventure. Now, what kind of adventure do you think the mare is going to provide for Alexei? What do you think? I don't know, maybe since this is a magical beast, maybe more magical beasts will be presented. We'll have to continue to read. "The Tsar of this region could use another hunt," said the horse. "Tomorrow I will take you to his palace. If he hires you, I promise to serve you well." Now the next morning Alexei fashioned a rough bridle with a bit of rope, mounted the horse, the Golden Mare, and set off for the palace of Tsar. The Tsar hired the young man at once, so impressed that was he by Alexei's mount. He offered Alexei a pricely sum for the mare. "Thank you, sire," said Alexei, "but I'm afraid she'll allow no rider but me." Annoyed that his offer was declined, the Tsar ordered a saddle and a real bridle put on the horse, but no one of his men could stand the Golden Mare's back. The Tsar glowered at Alexei, for he usually got what he wanted. "I trust that you will serve me quite well," he said coldly, not wanting to dismiss him in case he turned out to be a good huntsman. Now in just a few weeks Alexei became the first among the Tsar's huntsmen, for he was a good shot, and the golden mare was swift at the chase. As luck would have it, there came a day when Alexei spied no game, but rode on and on until he began to grow tired, or it began to grow dark. He was about to turn the mare around, noticed something glowing brightly on the path ahead. It was a golden feather, bright as a flame, and Alexei knew it must be a feather from the great Firebird. "I will take this prize to the Tsar," said Alexei. "Then perhaps he will look upon me with favor." The golden mare was protective of her kind master. "If you take that Firebird's feather, you will surely learn the meaning of fear," she warned. But so confident was Alexei that he did not heed her words, and presented the feather to the Tsar the very next day. Now, what do you think Alexei does? Why do you think Alexei does not pay attention to the golden mare's warning? Even though she's helped him to find a position with the Tsar, why do you think he ignores this warning? Well, even though Alexei has become first among the Tsar's huntsmen, he's still trying to find favor with the Tsar. Alexei thinks that presenting the Tsar with a feather from the Firebird will cause the Tsar to look upon him with favor. So with that being said, let's go ahead and put here that Alexei seeks fortune and adventure. He meets a golden mare that can speak. The mare takes Alexei to the Tsar, and the Tsar is impressed with the mare and hires Alexei as a huntsman. Okay, let's continue to read to see if we can add to the sequence of events. As the Tsar greedily took the feather, he saw a way to rid himself of this insolent huntsman, whose horse was a constant reminder of what he could not have. "You bring me a mere feather?" bellowed the Tsar. "If you are so clever, bring me the whole bird, or I'll have your head brought in on a platter." Alexei left the throne room in despair and went to the golden mare's stall. "Do not worry," said the golden mare. "Ask the Tsar to have 100 sacks of maize scattered at midnight upon the open field on the hill. I will see to the rest." The Tsar agreed to Alexei's request, and at midnight his men scattered 100 sacks of maize on the field. Alexei took the saddle and bridle off the golden mare, and she wandered loose in the field. Then he hid in the branches of a huge oak tree that stood at the top of the hill. All night they waited. As the first golden ray of dawn lit the sky, from the eastern edge of the world the Firebird came flying, wings aflame with the reflected light of the sun. Now let's go ahead and stop there real quick. What signal words and phrases help you track the sequence of events after the Tsar agrees to Alexei's request? Well, if you look, there's words such as, or phrases that are at midnight, then, all night, and as the first golden rays of dawn lit the sky. Those are all signal words. So you can use those signal words to relate the order in which the events take place. At midnight, the maize was scattered over the field, and Alexei took the saddle off the golden mare. Then Alexei hid in a nearby tree. All night they waited. As the first golden ray of dawn lit the sky, the Firebird came flying. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and write that in the next sequence of events charts section here. At midnight, maize was scattered over the field, and Alexei took the saddle off the golden mare. Then Alexei hid in a nearby tree. All night they waited as the first golden rays of dawn lit the sky. The Firebird came flying. Okay, let's continue to read. Now the mighty bird landed in the field and began to eat the maize, and as the golden mare grazed nearby, she wandered closer and closer to the Firebird. And when the bird was close enough, the mare placed a hoof upon its tail pinning it to the ground. The Firebird tried in vain to fly away, but the Mare held fast. Alexei jumped from the tree, tied the struggling bird securely with rope, and placed it carefully in a sack. Now the Tsar was amazed to see Alexei bearing the mythical Firebird. He ordered a huge ornate cage built for the magnificent bird. People came from miles around to see the captive Firebird, and all the neighboring Tsars were quite jealous of his prized possession. Alexei, however, felt sorry for the bird and wished that he had never seen its feathers shining in the forest path. Now, when you paraphrase, you put all the details the author gives you in your own words without adding any of your own ideas. Do you think you can paraphrase the first 2 sentences on this page, on page 651? Give it a try. Well, the Tsar was very surprised to see Alexei carrying the Firebird. The Tsar was had a big fancy cage built for the Firebird, and people from far away came to see the caged bird. All the other rulers in the area were jealous of the Tsar's bird. All in my own words, but recognizing all the important points. Okay, let's continue reading. Now Alexei remained the Tsar's best huntsman and brought him much profit. But no matter how well Alexei did, he could not please the Tsar, for the golden mare still obeyed Alexei alone. A few weeks later, the Tsar called Alexei to him. "Since you seem to have the talent for impossible tasks, I have another one for you," said the Tsar. "In a distant eastern land, Yelena the fair sails in her golden boat upon the lake of the sun. Find her and bring her back to be my bride. It will mean your death if you fail." With a heavy heart, Alexei went to the golden mare, certain that his new task was hopeless. "Ask the Tsar for a brocade tent and all sorts of sweetmeats and delicacies," the mare said, "and I will take you to her." Now the Tsar supplied Alexei with a beautiful tent and fine foods, which Alexei packed into saddlebags upon the golden mare's broad back. Okay, now let's stop right there. Why do you think the golden mare tells Alexei to ask the Tsar for a brocade tent, sweetmeats, and delicacies before going to Yelena the Fair? Why do you think? Well, Alexei might be able to impress Yelena with these luxury items and maybe convince her to return to the palace. So this is almost like a bribe. Okay? Now as they set out, it seemed to Alexia that the mare's feet barely touched the ground. So swiftly did she run. For 7 days and 7 nights she ran, through green forests, past waterfalls, up and down mountains, until the 8th morning she stopped. And silhouetted against the blazing sunrise, the boat of Yelena the Fair sailed upon the lake of the sun. Alexei set up the tent and arranged rugs and cushions and side along the fancy foods that he had brought. Then he sat and waited for Yelena the Fair, and before long the boat sailed closer and closer to the shore until finally she lowered sail and landed upon the beach. Stepping out lightly, the maiden approached the regal-looking tent and saw the feast that Alexia had laid out. Yelena and Alexia had a merry time, eating and talking of many things. "My master the Tsar is rich and powerful and famous too," Alexei boasted, "and he has in his possession the legendary Firebird. Perhaps you would accept